Hey y'all, what is good? My name is Nay. If you are new, welcome to my channel. If you're back, welcome back. So guys, in today's video, I will be talking about what you can plant in the month of April. I cannot believe we're already in April. It's crazy, guys. It's crazy. I wish I had my seed packets. I totally forgot to snag them before I started making this video, and they're not currently here with me. So let's just pretend I have a seed packet here. Okay, cool. All right, cool. So these will be the things that you can plant in April. April is one of those times where it's probably some of us, our last frost date has passed. For some of us, our frost date is here, and for some, it's not here yet. I'm so sorry. But these are still things in the month of April that you could pretty much plant a lot of places, and we'll get into that in a second. So I have my little list here, so if you see me looking down, that's why. So y'all, let's get started. So in the first thing that you can plant in April are lettuces. Now, depending on where you are, you can still plant lettuce, but it probably won't be for a long time in April. You can still plant it, but depending on how hot it's getting now for you all, your lettuce could probably bolt. But if you're good with your frost date and everything, and it doesn't get to too high of a temperature, then you can most definitely plant lettuce. You can plant lettuce in raised beds. You can plant lettuce in grow bags. You can plant lettuce in green stalks or other containers and things like that. So if you have lettuce, then you're good. And then to follow up with lettuce, you can plant your leafy. To follow up with lettuce, you can plant your leafy greens. So your leafy greens include kale, spinach, collards, Swiss chard, all the leafy green vegetables. And actually, Swiss chard would be a good one. I am not trying Swiss chard. I probably should, but I'm not trying it. But Swiss chard, you can actually plant that like during your summer months because it doesn't mind heat. That's one of those leafy greens that don't mind heat. But everything else you can plant this month. Yeah, before everything starts to bolt. And if you don't know what bolting means, bolting is just when your vegetable goes to seed. So like for lettuce, you can tell it's bolting when it starts to get like super tall. That's a sign of bolting, and like if it tastes bitter, then that's a sign that means that your leafy greens have bolted. So those are the first two things that you can plant. Next, I would say excuse me. Next next I would say beets. If you're going to plant beets, this will be the month to do it because again, you don't want anything to bolt and go to seed. So I would plant I would plant beets just like the same way, either in a container, in a grow bag, in a raised bed. Direct sow it is your best option, and even with the leafy greens, you can also direct sow those into the ground. You don't have to do them from transplants or starts. If you do, at least for the leafy greens, then it won't be as bad. No, it probably takes maybe like a week to germinate, and then when you feel like the transplant is strong enough, then you put it into the ground. But beets, just direct sow those. There's no point of transplanting those whatsoever, because with root crops, you don't want to transplant them, you just want to direct sow them. So I would say beets. Next, and this one applies to me, are potatoes. If you haven't gotten your potatoes in the ground in March, then April is your time to do it. I would say early April. I'm going to transplant my potatoes next week once I can get some black cow and more soil to fill up some grow bags. And then I'm going to plant my potatoes. I will show you guys that video, and I will record that for you all But yeah, if you haven't gotten your potatoes in the ground, go ahead. I didn't want to put my potatoes in the ground. One, because it was still like very hard freezes. But then two, I just need to get some black cow and some other like manure and compost and stuff like that. So if you haven't done that, go ahead and do that. Now, if you are in April and your last frost has passed, so I'm talking to my friends now whose last frost date has passed, or you know your last frost date is in the month of April. So this is the time when you can start transplanting your warm weather crops. And for me, I probably won't transplant anything until late April, maybe the first part of May, but probably late April because, side note, I was checking on my seedlings earlier today. Today is April 9th, I think. 8th or 9th, one of the two. I was checking my seedlings, and y'all, my tomatillo plants are already starting to form flowers. That didn't happen last year. So I was very surprised. I mean, they look very healthy and things like that, but that just means like it's about time for me to go ahead and transplant. But I'm going to wait till the end of the month. That was just a side note. Back to the regular schedule program here. Okay. So, the things that you can transplant in April, if you are clear of frost for the 10-day forecast and ongoing. Always check your forecast before you transplant. So those would be your tomatoes. Go ahead and make sure that all your beds are amended, and make sure that that everything is in place where it needs to be, and you can go ahead and transplant your tomatoes. You can transplant your peppers, you can transplant your eggplant, you can transplant your basil. All your really warm, loving heat weather crops, you can go ahead and transplant those. Now, I would say some seeds that you can still start indoors. It may not be big transplants depending on when your last frost date is, but if your frost date is not in April and is later on, you can start these things indoors. So I would say sunflowers can be started indoors, and I would base this if your last frost date, I should preface this, I'm sorry. Start these things when you're about 2 weeks out from your last frost date, a week or two, but preferably 2. I wouldn't say any more than 2, but you can start these things indoors 2 weeks before your last frost date. So sunflowers, you can start those. Zinnias, you can start those. They don't take that long to germinate, and I would think that you would be able to get a good size transplant before your last frost date when you do it 2 weeks out. So I would say that. Melons and pumpkins, they can be direct sown, but if you want to get a head start, or you think that there's going to be animals that are going to eat the seeds, then I would just start those indoors, but just do one stem and don't try to disturb the roots because it won't make it. But if you only have one and then you transplant that out, as long as you don't disturb its roots that much, I think it'll be fine. So you can go ahead and start that indoors. Yarrow, I would start that indoors 2 weeks out. At least that's what my packet said. It said 2 to 4 weeks. You can start that indoors and then transplant it. So I would start yarrow. Cosmos, you can transplant. You can transplant after you start them 2 weeks indoors. And then any other flowers that you haven't started that need to be started inside, I would say go ahead and start your flowers. And yeah, that's all that you can plant in April. If you want to know any varieties that I'm planting, I can make a separate video on that. If you have any questions, please comment them down below. Or if you just want to make a comment and we can talk in the comment section, then we could do that. So Thank you guys so much for watching. Please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. It helps me a lot. Please subscribe if you enjoy the content. There's more content coming. I promise you guys. Like, it's not going to be a lot more sit down, like, and talk videos. It's going to be a lot more of me, like, outside doing things. It's just right now things are a little bit weird. So, you know, that's life. So, but yeah, if you enjoyed the content, please subscribe. And I will talk to you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.